All right. So same sort of idea, right? What do you notice here about the difference in direction? It doesn't ask for an exact value. Right? It just says solve. Everybody okay? What does that mean for us? Calculator as opposed to unit circle. So again, if the direction asks for exact value, you know you're going to be using a unit circle. If it doesn't ask for an exact value, we're going to use a calculator. If you have your calculator with you and you'd like to pull it out to follow along, I invite you to do so. If you're like, oh, I don't have a calculator with me, but I really want to follow along, I have a couple sitting on my desk you're welcome to borrow to follow along with. Or you're like, nah, I'm good. But you get home and you realize I wasn't good. What would you do? Fire up the video and watch what we do, right? So you can follow along then on home with your calculator when you realize that, yeah, should have just gotten my calculator out and stop being so big-headed about it. All right. The good news is the majority of this process is still the same. So I'm going to start the same way. I notice that sine theta is negative. What does that mean for us? I do my all silly turtles crawl. Where is sine negative?
T and C.
T and C. That is correct. Then the next piece we go to is our interval. So we go start at 0, and which way are we going to be counting, clockwise or counterclockwise? Counter, because they're positive angles, right? Pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2. So 0, a half, okay, that's my start. 1, 1 and a half, that's my end. So what spot are we going to be looking in? Quadrant 3. So far, so good. Okay. So, unfortunately, your calculator can't give you an angle in quadrant 3. Remember, what's the range for sine inverse on your calculator? It's negative pi over 2 to positive pi over 2. It's only going to give you an answer in quadrants 1 or 4. So we have to do a little bit of wiggling to get the answer that we want out of this. Okay? So far, so good? So we know that our answer, use a different color. Green was a terrible choice. Purple, now that's a choice. So we know our answer for theta is something that looks like that, right? Everybody's okay with that? So what I'm going to do is I can't find that theta directly with my calculator. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find this angle. I'm going to call that angle alpha. So that's like the little Jesus fish symbol is the one that I use for it. And I'm going to think about theta then as like this angle plus this angle. Is everybody okay with that? So theta is going to equal, how far is the bright purple angle? 180 degrees, but we're doing everything in radians, so it's going to be pi. Oops. And then plus this alpha. Is everybody okay with that? So the only piece that I need then is figuring out that alpha, and then I can get my answer. Pretty good with that? Okay, to find alpha, it's just going to be sine inverse of the absolute value of the number. Now, am I going to bother typing an absolute value into my calculator? No. Why? I can just do it in my head, guys, right? What's the absolute value of a negative number? The positive. What's the absolute value of the positive? The positive. Like, I can get rid of negative signs in my head. I don't need to ask my calculator to do that. I'm never going to actually type that in. You can if you want to. I will not, because what a waste of my time pushing buttons that I don't need to do something that, like, doy, Mr. Who, like, I can do an absolute value of a number in my head. Everybody okay with that? All right. So let's fire up our calculator. There you go. I did something. Okay, maybe it wants to do, there we go, okay. So I don't do this stuff. So into my calculator, I'm going to type pi plus sine inverse, so second in the sine button, and then positive 0.32, and then enter. Those of you following along, did you get a number other than this? We got a number in like the, like the negatives or something.
Wait. I
Ah, you need to change your mode from degree mode to radian mode because it's giving you a degree answer, adding it to pi. You need a radian answer. So just press the mode button. That's this one right here. And then make sure that the radian is highlighted. So move your cursor down to radian, press enter, and then try it again. And you should get that same answer. Great. So we have 3.46 for our answer. Now, let's check our work. Yeah? Nice to be able to check our answer. So our check has two parts. So check one. Does this number live in between these two guys? Well, you probably can't just look at the, look at the thing and tell. So let's do this. Let's write pi over 2 as a decimal, and then 3 pi over 2 as a decimal. Does 3.46 live in between those? Yes. So we're good there. So we check that. The other part is, does theta satisfy our original equation? If I do sine of 3.46, do I get negative 0.32? Let's check. So I'm going to do sine of, and then I'm going to just go back up and grab that answer so I don't have to worry about the decimals, and press enter. Is that close enough for you guys? Close enough for me, right? That checks. Oops. So we're good. Let's do some more, yeah? Is this okay though? Process is basically the same, at least the startup. The only part that's different is pulling that value from the unit circle is a little bit different. So I want to, before we move on, I want to do one little thing.
No, I have a short one. I just did it. But I did do, section box. I did that myself together.
Yeah, I did part of it myself, but
I got one right now with this, so.
honestly, my section was short, I cut down here, it's only like.
Yeah, so that's how we should hold this section.
Mr. Fuller, can I use the bathroom, please?
Yeah. Oof. That's not right. That's good. Like that. So this is something I would want to write down. I want on my note card. It basically is the rule for deciding when I should be adding or subtracting alpha to the value on the x-axis. So the way I read this picture, if you will pay attention for a moment before you start copying, if alpha is a positive value, and my answer, say, is in, or if theta is a positive value, and my answer is in quadrant 2, what that means is I'm going to take the x-axis label and subtract alpha from it. Right? Before, when we had theta in quadrant 3, we took our x-axis label and added alpha to it, right? So this is just telling us whether we should be adding and subtracting and what we should be adding and subtracting. And if we have a negative angle, the rules are basically just reversed. I think. We got to check it here in a minute. We'll do an example to check. But I think that's how that works. But that's something you'll want. I promise you. The people that are writing this down have a chance to write it down who needed it? Okay. We'll refer back to it in a minute. Okay, the next one we have is cosine theta equals 0.32 between 1 pi and 2 pi. So again, we start the same way. Where is cosine positive?
No, it's either.
A and C. Where is pi and 2 pi? Or pi to 2 pi? Quadrants 3 and 4. And I would suggest as we're doing this to make the labels as we go around. The reason I would do that is because I need those labels in order to use that grid that I just wrote up. So I want to make sure I put my labels on when I'm doing this. Is everybody okay with how I labeled? Where's my answer at? Quadrant 4. So I'm going to call that piece alpha, always between the terminal side of my angle and the x-axis. Right?
Can I use the bathroom?
So if I go and I look at this grid I just made up, we have a positive angle, and we're in the 4th quadrant. So I should say that theta equals 2 pi minus alpha. Is everybody okay with how I use the picture that I drew up for you in order to come up with my equation for theta? That helps simplify things a little bit, right? Now I don't have to use common sense about how to write my equation for theta. You're free to do that, but like, that just kind of cuts through some of the, cuts your thinking down a little bit. If you were having to get an option to have a note card, boy, that's a nice thing to put on a note card, right? Okay. The last thing I need now is to find out how to find my alpha. How do I find alpha every time? Cosine inverse of the absolute value, 0.32. Now, do I need to worry about the absolute value really here? No, it's already positive. So, we just go to our calculator, and I'm going to do 2 pi minus cosine inverse 0.32. Again, I did the absolute value in my head. I get 503.
Can I?
That's embarrassing.
Can I go see Miss Blucher really quick? She just emailed me and said come see me.
Can you give me like 5 more minutes?
Yeah, that's fine.
We're nearing an end here. Okay. So far, so good? Well, how do I check this now?
If it's in between two.
So if I go to my calculator and I type in pi and 2 pi, it's in between. And then what else do I need to check? The original equation, right? Does cosine of 5.03 equal 0.32? And it does. Oos. We got it. Everybody good? So we checked both parts. Last example, after this one, Lauren, you can go check out your or whatever. Okay. So we have tan theta equals 2.6. So all silly turtles crawl. Where's tangent positive? Yup. And then we need to go, oh no, negative values. All right, so 0, negative pi over 2, negative pi, negative 3 pi over 2. Yes?
Why is it pi over 2?
Because it's negative. We're going clockwise because they're negative angles, right? Oh yeah, right? What a bummer. So negative 3 pi over 2 to negative pi over 2 is quadrants 2 and 3. All right, Mr. Kulek, fine. So there's my theta. There's my alpha. Everybody's okay? So let's go to our little chart and decide what we need to do. Oh, dear me. What did I just do? Okay. Oh, that's smaller than necessary. All right. So we are here. That's not right. Okay, I have an edit to make here. Is it all the same? Yeah, I think so. All right, well, let's double check. So we have negative pi plus alpha. And alpha is going to be, just like before, tan inverse of 2.6. Really?
Can I go to that?
Yeah. And we go to our calculator then. Why I need to walk over here, because I can just do it from over here. Oh, where are you? Okay, so we have negative pi plus tan inverse 2.6. So I have negative 1.93. It's okay. So I do my check. This is negative, what was it? This is negative 1.57. And the other one is negative 4.7. So that works, right? And then I need to check that tan of that answer is 2.6. And close enough?
Yeah.
I think so too. So that's it. How do you guys feel? It's all right. Basically the same as the last set. Except you use your calculator, right? But the initial pieces are all the same. What are you noticing on these? Did I ever have to do a coterminal on these? No, and you shouldn't if you're doing the method that I'm describing here. So that's the advantage. Let me give you your sheet.
Okay. Can Grace come as well? She's my partner. It's from this project on the website.
Okay.
Oh my god, mine's not working either.
Yeah, I know.
Can you
She
tell
said
me
it's
if she
working, but it's not working.
Because I can find my actual.
Yeah, I think it's.
Unit 3 isn't
Yeah.
available.
Okay. Well, good luck, girls.
Yeah.
Tell me what she does.
So we got, I don't know, what do you guys have? We have 40 minutes or something left in class? 40, 35, 40 minutes?
34.
Okay. Get going. Get some practice in. Knock some of this out, right?
Yes.
Get it, kids. Get it. Let the learning begin.